Folks, here we go. Week 2. Let's just say week 1 was not a good one. We'll recap it real quick. One of my worst weeks that I've actually had historically. 7-9, pretty bad performance. NFL week 1 is always pretty crazy. I can't lie to you. It's always pretty wild, and things just sometimes things happen. So only 7 right, 9 incorrect. A couple very wild games that I could not have expected by any means. But that's week 1 for you. I mean, it's week 1 for you. That's what happens. So 7-9 so far in the year. I'll take it. Would like to be doing a little bit better, but typically we're in a winning ratio there. But let's go ahead and let's start with week 2 here, and get into these picks. I hope you're ready because I know I am. So we've got a great Thursday night game, right? This is just a beauty of a game. Giants against football team. So, a couple things to point out. Giants, they played like absolute garbage. I mean, absolute garbage. They played terrible. Meanwhile, the football team, they lost their starting quarterback in Ryan Fitzpatrick. Frankly, if I'm being 100% honest with you, I think it's actually a net benefit for the team. Taylor Heinicke has a little bit of a different factor to the offense that works pretty well with Antonio Gibson than Ryan Fitzpatrick had. Let's be clear. Ryan Fitzpatrick, in my opinion, is a curse to most teams. He does just enough to get the starting job, and he never does enough with it. So he's done it his whole career. He's screwed over a lot of teams that way. He's never good enough to do anything, but he's good enough to get the starting job, which, again, screws people that, might have a better chance. And Heinicke here is why I'm going with the football team. The defense looked pretty okay against the Chargers, holding up the Chargers relatively so for the most part. I mean, again, the Chargers have a fantastic, ridiculous offense, and the Giants have nowhere near that. Also, the Giants' offensive line, not quite that of the Chargers. So for that reason, I do still think it'll be a lower scoring one just because it's the Giants. So I'm going 17-13 on this one. Mostly because I didn't see much out of the Giants. I mean, Saquon, I think he's still going to be at a limited snap count, given that it's a short rest week, and last week he only saw 6 handoffs. I think it's going to be a short week for him. And again, it's going to be rough. They don't have a running back, and it's just going to be on Daniel Jones to see what he can do. Next, you have Patriots against Jets. Definitely a lot can be said about either team. Both looked terrible at many points in the game. The Jets turned it around towards the end when it was more of a blowout type, and almost came back, frankly. I mean, kind of. But the Jets, look, Zach Wilson, I feel really good about. This is going to be a great matchup because you've got Mac and you've got Zach, okay? It's Mac and Zach. It's going to be good. The Mac and Zach, it's going to be a great matchup. I'm pretty excited for it. But again, Zach Wilson looked horrible in the first half last week. Mac Jones looked okay, decent in the first half, and second half, nothing going on. I mean, nothing happened. I mean, it was kind of crazy. Overall, he played pretty well, though, I will say that. For that reason, I'm going Patriots. I think their defense did a pretty good job, all things considered, given the circumstance. Even though they're facing Miami, I just don't think the Jets will be able to keep up with them. I like this matchup quite a bit. I really do. I'm going 20-13 on this one, giving the Patriots the edge. Broncos, Jags. Look, it's a tough game. Trevor Lawrence, he really didn't play that well in the home opener. I mean, I can't lie to you, or in the Jags opener here. I really don't think he did. I think statistically, he performed fine to begin the game. And then we started throwing a lot of picks, right? When you start throwing 3 picks, we have a little bit of a concern. He was forcing balls towards the end of the game. Just wanted to come back, and they were already losing big time. When Melvin Gordon scores 70-yard touchdown on you as well, that's when you know your defense has big problems. I hate to say it, Teddy B, he's one of those guys that doesn't do everything, but he just does enough to win the game. He does enough to win the game. It's crazy. I don't know how he does it, but he performs well. I mean, he does enough to win the game. So we're going 27 to 23 on this one. I think Jacksonville hangs in there, but it'll be a close game. Bills against Dolphins. Look, Dolphins just barely snuck away from the Patriots. The Bills looked like absolute garbage against the Steelers. But the Dolphins' defense is nothing compared to the Steelers' defense, all things considered. I think that the Bills will catch it. I mean, Josh Allen looked like trash week 1. I mean, I can't lie to you. And I think he'll catch fire this week. And I think he'll play a lot better. I mean, I just was disappointed with the Bills as a whole last week. I mean, let's be clear, I think the Steelers got pretty lucky. A touchdown off of a tip pass and then a blocked punt. Again, I think they got lucky to get out of there with a win because Big Ben is horrific, but we'll get to the Steelers later, It's crazy going with 3 away teams so far, but here I am doing it. So, how do I like this game? Well, I think they'll come out pretty strong, and I'm going with a 31 to 21, 10-point spread there. Then we have Niners at Eagles. Again, one of these home teams is going to have to win these, unfortunately. And I don't know. It's a tough week for home matchups. I'm going 49ers because they look so dominant. With Mostert out, it hurts a little bit, but the 49ers played so well last week, and it was against Detroit, let's be clear. The Eagles played okay. Atlanta more of blew the game than the Eagles actually won, in my opinion. I'm going 49ers just because of the run factor, 27 to 20 on this one. Rams, Colts. Look, it's. You think I'm crazy picking all these away teams, and I probably am, and I'm going to get one of them wrong. It's probably going to be Jets and Jags. I assume might prove me wrong, but I gotta choose. The Rams looked really good. Stafford looked fantastic. The Colts played okay. They really played okay. Carson Wentz was sucky, in my opinion. I don't think he's not the quarterback for this team. He shouldn't be. He holds onto the ball too long, gets hit way too many times. I like the Rams dominating on offense. And they were padding stats towards the end of the game. I'm going 31-27 on this one for the Rams. Here's one where I look. You make it tough on me. Steelers, Raiders. I got to go Steelers on this one. I think the Raiders got lucky to get away from that with a win without literally any running game. The rushing game was led by Marcus Mariota with one run for 30 yards. Josh Jacobs is still going to be hurt. Toe is hurting on Josh Jacobs. There's a huge issue in the running game. And they frankly won the game mostly because Baltimore threw it. I think Baltimore completely botched their opportunity against a pretty weak defense. The Steelers, on the other hand, have a great defense. And I like them at home versus the Raiders here. It's tough to say, but it is what it is. 20-17. It could be a big blowout, but again, the Steelers' offense is horrible. If Najee's not running, then Big Ben can't throw it. I think he's proven it. His arm strength is horrific. If you saw any of the highlights from last week, he just looks bad. He looks terrible throwing the ball. He's got to go. Bears, Bengals. Give me the Bears here in a little bit of a weird squiggly line there. Give me the Bears. I still think, to my knowledge, I think they're going to give Fields a lot more snaps this week. I think that goes without saying. Last week they didn't because they were facing the Rams, and they didn't want Justin Fields to die. Instead, Andy Dalton was the lamb to the slaughter, and he was slaughtered. But, look, the Bengals snuck away with the win. I don't think they should have gotten. Should be Fields versus Burrow, in my opinion. I think Fields will get a lot more snaps here. I like the Bears at home against the Bengals to the tune of 24-17 on this one. Texans, Browns. Look, the Browns played a fantastic first half and absolutely choked in the second half. Really, it's just because everything works out Chiefs at the end of the day. Always does. So, but the offense looked fantastic. I think they've got a point to prove. I'm going to say they put up 34 this week against the Texans, who I think incredibly outperformed what they should typically be doing. The Browns defense played actually pretty well. Denzel Ward was doing a good job on Tyreek, all things considered. And I'm going to say this one's going to be kind of a stinker, 34-20. I think the Texans just aren't it. Saints-Panthers is a very tough game, too. The Saints looked fantastic. More so the Green Bay Packers kind of looked like trash. I mean, it's my team, and I can tell you they looked like trash. The Panthers looked pretty okay with Sam Darnold at the helm. I'm going to give it to the Saints, though, because I think Jameis is in for a good year. He's going to put up a lot of passing stats. A lot. So I'm going 30. It's a weird 30. Don't worry. It's a weird 3. 30-21 on that one. Cardinals-Vikings. Look, Vikings looked like garbage. I'm giving to the Cardinals. The Cardinals defense played way better than I expected week 1, and the offense was ridiculous. Kyler MVP is making an MVP statement already week 1 with 5 total touchdowns. The guy was making, he was making them look like fools out there. The Titans looked like fools against Kyler Murray on defense. He was scrambling. He had to have rushed for about 8,000 yards on the day, even though none of it was in the stat sheet really, but he had to have. For that sake, I think he's going off. Crazy to say no field goal, but let's go 35-27. I think Kyler's going off. I don't know. Falcons, Bucks, very easy pick. Bucks. Falcons looked like absolute garbage. The Bucks looked pretty darn good, to the tune of 27-17. Falcons are going to get dominated, in my opinion. Seahawks, Titans. The Titans played like trash in week 1. The Seahawks played pretty darn good. The Seahawks typically find a way to win, especially when they're in Seattle with fans now. I like the Seahawks here, actually, which is kind of crazy. I do think the Titans have a good chance of winning it. Weird how the late bracket, I love the away teams, or the home teams, but I love the away teams in the early bracket. But let's go Seahawks here to the tune of 30 to approximately 28. It's going to be a close game. Down to 1 score for sure. Let's take a look at Cowboys, Chargers. Look, I like the Chargers here. I don't think the Cowboys defense is going to be able to handle the incredible passing game that the Chargers have, as well as Austin Eckler looking pretty darn good as well. The Cowboys looked definitely good against the Bucs. They looked really good against a good defense. They're going to be matching it. This is going to be a great game to watch in terms of offense. The passing game is going to be fantastic. So I'm going 34-30. I think it'll be a pretty high-scoring game. I'd say for sure over 60 points scored this game. Ravens, Chiefs. I'm going Chiefs. They always find a way to win, no matter what. Weird score here, but I think they'll put up 34. Ravens. I didn't like what they did last night. I'll tell you that right now. They looked pretty bad. 34 to approximately 28. Weird score, but that's okay. And Packers, Lions at Packers. I'm going Packers at Green Bay. They looked horrible. I think they've got a point to prove now. And the Lions, look, they only scored their points in garbage time, all things considered. They looked terrible against the 49ers until the fourth quarter, where they almost actually came back somehow. But we know how it is. Jared Goff has experienced why Matthew Stafford has padded his stats his whole career. He's experienced it now. So let's go Packers. I think they're pissed. Aaron Rodgers is going to be pissed off, in my opinion. Let's go 30. And I think Jared Goff's actually playing okay. 30-27. It'll be closer than it should be, but that's what I got for you today. Hope you enjoyed. And let's see what happens.